Hello Flickering Myth family and welcome to our channel. My name is EJ and in this video we are diving into yet another horror film. What a year we've had for the genre, and we are not done yet because we are talking about Shelby Oaks. Simple, straightforward, and effective. That's how I would quickly describe Shelby Oaks. I don't want to say I walked into this movie hesitant, but we're in kind of uncharted territories here. Chris Stuckmann is a film critic that has moved to director chair. We have, Neon, who's having a great year so far, distributing the movie, and then we have people like Mike Flanagan giving the movie its kind of thumbs up. I was like, okay, oh, wow, this is a lot going on for this movie. How can I go into it just without some level of hype, without some level of anticipation? Well, I'm glad I was hyped for it because this movie was well worth the wait, and I enjoyed what was offered here. Like I said, straightforward, simple, and effective. It tells a story about a woman trying to just find her sister, but it uses different mediums. It uses different genre elements. It definitely pulls inspiration from other movies, but I don't ever feel like it's straight up ripping something off. You could just definitely see that Chris Stuckmann is a filmmaker who's heavily inspired by the filmmakers around him, and I often appreciate that. I mean, we have people like Tarantino who has just made movies where he's straight up ripping things off, and I'm not shading Tarantino for it. I quite like his movies, but you know what I mean? So this isn't new territory. Stuckmann wearing his inspirations on his sleeve is definitely not a insult or anything like that. I like the movie. Do I think it's a little sometimes simple and effective to the point where I was waiting for something bigger and bolder? It picks up towards the end, which I will probably imagine is going to be a divisive ending. So I did like where it went towards the end, but it did feel like it took a bit of time to brew up that up. We had to build up the drama, build up the tension, and thank goodness we had such powerful acting, especially from our lead performance, because the build-up could have not been worth it. But with great acting, smart directing, and an overall vibe that I enjoyed, this movie it's smarter than I thought it was going to be. It blends those elements. It's a little bit of a serial killer horror film. It's a family drama. There's a found footage like wrapping all around it. There is so much involved here that, again, could feel over the top, could feel overwhelming, but the sleek direction and everything like that kept it streamlined and kept it focused, and overall made an enjoyable horror film. The film begins and we are learning about Riley and her group of YouTubers. There's like David and Peter and Laura. They're just making YouTube videos, paranormal videos where they're going to spooky locations, dealing with the hauntings or the not so hauntings that they deal with. Well, Riley, who's our kind of central focus of this YouTube channel, is gone missing. Actually, the whole team has gone missing. So now her sister, Mia, played by Camille Sullivan, says, I am going to find my sister even if it takes years. Everyone around me can think she has passed, but I am not giving up. So we're following Mia's journey to get her sister back. The beginning has a found footage flair to it. The movie shifts to a more familial drama, and then by the end, I'm like, what are we watching? The First Omen? Like, we have gone to different elements that I would have never expected. I like the movie that it evolves into different films as it takes you through the journey. And it never feels like it's throwing you around to different genres. There's always that through line. It's Stuckmann's really smart directing and Sullivan's amazing acting. I like the Mia character. She's challenging at times because she's definitely very strong-willed. She wants what she wants, and she wants to find her sister. She does not care what anyone around her says. She's doing it, and it's a strong, bold performance. And continuously, this character makes choices that I'm like, we're doing that. All right, okay, Miss Mia, I'm trusting you. You know what you're going to do. And then by the end of the movie, I'm like, did I trust Mia properly? Who knows? That is up to you to decide. So yeah, overall, I like the story. Like I said in the beginning, it's simple and effective. Mia wants her sister. She's going to figure out how to do it. She gets tapes, and there's like a inciting incident that really kicks the story off into a new level that really pushes things forward, not just for the story itself, but the actual movie kicks into a different gear when this incident happens. I liked so much of this story. It's a little Blair Witch Project. It's a little The Conjuring. If you're a fan of those movies, you have like this love child of a movie now that feels like it took a little bit of that classic found footage, let's investigate kind of vibes, but we also have this haunting, this almost like family heaviness that's here. This movie is kind of beyond just a ghost movie. I straight up thought this was going to be a normal found footage movie. This is much more than that, and I appreciate that. I love what they did. And again, a strong performance from Camille Sullivan. If this performance was not at the lead of this movie, I don't think it would be as effective. And that's nothing against the other actors in this movie, but this is like almost a one-woman show at times. She has a husband character that she meets like years later, or a couple years before her sister goes missing, so they're trying to have a family, so you have that drama as stuff there. There's just so many pieces of like little pieces of family drama. Again, that's what really sold me, is the, I don't want to say hereditary vibe, but sometimes family grief, sometimes interpersonal drama can be just as scary as ooky spooky monsters in the corner. And this movie has that too. Do not worry. There's monsters, there's everything. You get a lot of genre stuff here. But what really sucked me in was watching this family get torn apart by what happens and this investigation and getting things done. It's so interesting and compelling to watch. It's a slow build, and by the time you get to the end, I felt like it was a satisfying conclusion to everything that led up to it. One of the biggest conversations about this movie has been the director himself. Chris Stuckmann has gone from one of, if not the most popular film critic on YouTube, to now directing a movie. For anyone making a video like I am right now, you should take this as an inspiration. You should also take what Chris Stuckmann did here as a way of learning as a filmmaker too. I felt this was a filmmaker unafraid of getting a bad review. He felt like he was going to do what he wanted to do. So many filmmakers want to follow trends, that they want to just make a movie that feels easy and accessible. While I don't think this is the most complex, complicated movie, I think Stuckmann swung for the fences here. I think this was bold choice after bold choice, and I think for the most part it paid off. Where I think this movie struggles a tiny bit is cinematography for sure. I thought this movie looked like a indie low budget movie, and that's, you can't really hide that sometimes, but there is movies like a First Omen this year, like a Hereditary, like, oh my goodness, Longlegs this year. These are low budget films that really use their cinematography in a different way that makes the film feel like above and beyond its pay grade. I think for sure Shelby Oaks looks like one of those lower budget movies that I get sent that I'm like, this is fine, but you can definitely see the budget went to other places than the cinematography. So that's one of my biggest things, is I don't love the overall aesthetic of this film, but which is crazy because I think there's choices here that are aesthetic, that are great. I love the found footage atmosphere. I feel like if the movie would have stuck pure found footage, I would not have had these cinematography complaints. But once the movie feels like it gets a little bit more traditional at times, that's where I'm just like, oh, we're struggling with the overall look and aesthetic. But again, it's a simple story, and that, again, could scare some people off. There's not a lot here. If you do not want to follow Mia being stressed, maybe this won't work for you. But for me, again, I like these characters, I like this universe, and as we slowly start figuring out this mystery, one time in a very long research scene, I'm getting invested too. I'm wanting to figure it out, and that is one of the easiest and best compliments I can give a movie. When I'm wanting to figure out the mystery along with our characters, that is an easy sign to say that I'm invested and I want to see what happens, and I truly wanted to see what unfolded during all this madness. And again, great job from Chris Stuckmann from crafting this movie from the ground up, getting this made. Round of applause to the filmmaker, to everyone, and again, take this as an inspiration. You can do this. If you have a horror film rolling around in your brain, get it on paper, get it to somebody. It could happen. We see it now, and with Shelby Oaks, it sees that we can also make good movies as well. Alright everyone, that is it for my review of Shelby Oaks. I cannot wait to get into spoilers. I cannot wait to talk about this movie with more people. I feel like this is going to be a bit of a talking point horror film for whenever it's released. I don't know if it's going to be released later this year or early next year, but I really truly think that this is a conversation starter and a good sign that Chris Stuckmann is here to be a industry force. Watch out for him. If he gives me like David F. Sandberg, Mike Flanagan, those early days of those filmmakers, that's what he reminded me of. So if you like them, you might like this. All right, everyone, what did you think of my review of Shelby Oaks? Are you excited for this film? If you saw it at the festival screening that it had, what did you think of the movie? No spoilers, please. All right, share those thoughts. Subscribe, please. Actually, please subscribe. We want them here. We're almost at 30,000. Let us hit that. Join us at the Flickering Myth family. Give us a thumbs up, comment, all that jazz, and let's talk about Shelby Oaks right down below.